creative friends, happy Memorial Day weekend. This is Heather North from heatherscreativeblessings.com. I am participating in the Operation Right Home Memorial Day blog hop. This is the sketch I've chosen to use. It's sketch number 225, and as you can see, there's a lot going on here. And one of my tips when there's a lot going on a sketch, and it might be really busy and overwhelming, is to choose a paper pack, because professionals have already done most of the work for you. They've coordinated patterns and colors so that they will blend and mix and contrast really nicely. I'm going to start with this piece of paper from that Authentique pad that I showed you, and I'm going to do some embossing. So when I'm embossing, the first thing I do is I use my embossing buddy. This is a Stampin' Up! Embossing buddy, and it just removes the static so that your embossing powder doesn't stick where you don't want it to. The sentiment I'm going to be using is thanks, and this is from Hip Notes. This is a Stampin' Up! Set, and Stampin' Up! Calls this clear mount. What that means is it mounts on a clear mount block, but you cannot see through it. You can add the sticker to the back, and the sticker will, there, you can see it through there, but I found where I live that if you add the sticker to the back of this clear mount, then it just falls off. So I no longer do that. I just mount it on there. You can use a Stamp-A-Majig to place this, but I've got an easier way for this particular card. I'm just going to ink it up with Versamark. Versamark is a clear ink, and I'm just going to stamp it on my paper. Then I'm going to take some white embossing powder, add that over the stamped image, tap off the excess, and there you go. I need to heat set it with my heat tool to melt the embossing powder. Now, if you were to try and position that in the middle of a banner flag, it might be really difficult to get it exactly where you want it. But by using the banner framelits from Stampin' Up!, it makes it really easy. So this is the third largest, or third from the largest banner. And I'm just going to position it exactly where I want it, and then run it through my Big Shot. So let me pull the Big Shot over here and show you how I do this. So here's my Big Shot. I've got the Stampin' Up! Magnetic platform that will hold it in place, a clear plate on top of that, my paper that I've embossed with my thanks sentiment, and then I'm just going to place the banner where I want it to go, and the magnetic platform will hold it in place. If you don't have a magnetic platform, you can use some washi tape or post-it tape to hold your framelit in place so that it cuts exactly where you want it to cut. I'm going to put a clear plate on top and run it through. I'm going to set the Big Shot aside for a second. We'll bring it back in a minute. I'm just going to pull in some of that paper that I cut ahead of time. This is 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to adhere my banner strip to my base. I'm just going to place a couple of these stars where I want them to go for my inlaid die cutting, and I'm going to bring the Big Shot back again. While I have the Big Shot out, I'm also going to be cutting a couple of other pieces of paper that will be used a little bit later. These stars are from Little Inker Designs. I think they're called stitch stars. They've got a cute little stitching around it, which makes it work very well for this technique. Okay, so here's my magnetic platform, clear plate, the page I'm going to use to cut, and a couple of my stars. I'm going to put the other clear plate on top and just run it through again. I move my small star down here and I'm going to run it through one more time. I'm just positioning these stars on the paper. I'm going to run it through. And some red stars. I have all of the stars that I cut out. If you wanted a really subtle look, you could just put this right back in here that you cut out, but I am going for a bolder look, so I'm going to take some of these stars and place them in here like so. Because I used a die, they cut the same every time, so they should just fit right in like that. Isn't that cute? Now that this is cut out, I'm thinking I want this to go right in here and this maybe to pop up on top of it. Something like that. So I'm actually going to take this back to the die cut, to the Big Shot. Oopsies. So I'm going to try this. Hopefully I don't ruin the whole thing. I'm going to go run this through the Big Shot. Alright, here's the moment of truth. I'm going to pull that out. You can see right where it went. I'm going to pull this back in. This is more of a placeholder. I could put the star that I cut out of there, and I might end up doing that, but for right now I'm just going to set that aside. Put that in there, and then put this on top like that. Oh yeah. And then what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to take this on a little pop dot and I'm going to pop it up. So it'll be there, but it'll be on top. Okay, so before I put all of these stars in, what I'm going to do is adhere this to a layer of basic black cardstock that's just 1/8 of an inch bigger. So it's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to take a little bit of this Tombow Mono Multi Glue, and not very much because I don't want it to seep out the edges, but just a little bit all the way around the stars to make sure that the stars do get tacked down. Just want to make sure you've got a nice even border all the way around, and then push those down. I'm just going to be placing these to see if I like the way it looks. These are Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, and they're a nice flat-ish dimensional. They don't give too much height. Some of those foam tapes out there are pretty tall. So that'll end up going like that. Let's see. What do you think? I think I like it. I think that's going to be good. So let me go ahead and pull out my glue and just glue down the bottom pieces first. Again, you don't need very much glue to hold it in place. You don't want it oozing all over the place. Make sure it's tacked down all the way around. Go to my next one. It's like putting together a really easy puzzle. I thought this looks kind of cute just inside there. I could pop it up though. I wonder, better popped up or not? So do we pop this up on this one and pop this one up down here? or flat? I don't know. I wish you were in the stamp room with me and you could tell me what you would do. There's my card. Not too much dimension, but just a little bit, just to make it pop just a tiny bit. The last step in any OWH card is to stamp the back with one of the OWH stamps. I'm going to pull out some Midnight Muse and cattywampus it because I like it when it's off, you know, cattywampus. Thank you, Sandy Alnock and the crew at Operation Right Home for giving us a way to honor our nation's military and to remember those who have lost their lives in the service of our country, but also to honor and respect our nation's heroes that are currently serving and giving them a way to keep in touch with home. This is the card that I made that goes vertical or horizontal instead of vertical, and I was able to use, I think, my lucky stars on this one. Not inlaid die cutting, just a little bit quicker and easier to glue them on. Thank you everyone for joining me today. If you're on YouTube, be sure to click the link below to go to my blog and see the rest of the links. I'll have a link to the blog hop at OWH, and I'll also have a link to Stamp Nation with a sneak peek of the card that I made for exclusively for the Stamp Nation members. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you find some time today to get a little bit creative and to thank a military person or family for their service to our